But if I can give somebody that was maybe in my shoes 2, 3, 4 years ago advice, it would be that, to use a baseball analogy, focus on hitting singles and not home runs. It's so easy to kind of want to grasp everything at once and have these massive chunks of success and milestone very quickly, especially in the society that we live in today. It's like a microwave society. Everything happens so fast.
I am back in the incubator sitting down with Owen today. He's got a great company here on That Entrepreneur Show as we come back to a bonus series that we kicked off just a year ago. We're going to highlight a lot of great founders and businesses, some professors, leaders in here, CEOs, all of that in between to help you recognize the strength of the Lowth Center. Owen, thank you for joining the show.
Thank you very much for having me, Vince. It's an honor and privilege to be here, and I'm looking forward to this conversation.
Oh, back at you. We're excited to have you on as well. Everyone in this building has a unique journey, unique perspective, but the one cool thing about entrepreneurship is it's an industry where people are always willing to introduce you to someone or help you, opposed to my corporate days where it's very cutthroat. You want to be better for the person next to you. We all get into entrepreneurship for different reasons, and we're about to learn Owens in just a second. Today's show is brought to you by Coming Alive Podcast Production. Head to comingalivepodcastproduction.com today to start your journey. But speaking of starting journeys, Owen, why did you start your journey in entrepreneurship?
Yeah, it's a good intro question there. I think, overall, I've been an entrepreneur now for just about 4 years. I started back then because I wasn't really sure what to do with myself. I knew that I didn't think the corporate 9 to 5 thing was for me. And I wanted to kind of find a way where I could build something that was greater than myself and kind of fulfill the sense of purpose or itch, if you will. And so that's what kind of led me down this path. I wasn't exactly sure at the time that was entrepreneurship. I just thought, I'll just see if I can make a couple bucks or whatever. And then obviously it kind of came into itself and bore, a new life in a lot of sense. But yeah, it's been great and I loved every second of it.
What has been the most challenging part of entrepreneurship for you so far?
Yeah, I would say in the early days, it was having an understanding of how to teach myself a lot of different skills quickly and effectively. Being an entrepreneur, you need to know a lot of different things that maybe you don't think about when you first get into it. And so being able to kind of pick up skills quickly, be a fast-paced learner, I think that was something that I just not necessarily struggled with, but I had a little bit of a learning curve. And then, these days, a lot of it is just about how to be the best leader that I can. I'm constantly learning and getting feedback from the people that work with us and the people that advise and help us out, on how I can be a better leader. So I would say those two things have kind of been my learning points, if you will.
A lot of great points. You have to be networking, learning, asking questions, but also what you started with, having to learn a little bit of everything. You're wearing all the hats, you were doing everything. And it's a great message there that you don't have to be great at everything. You just have to try, and you got to try to figure it out, eventually start to outsource things. But we previewed why you got into this company. Now let's talk about this awesome company you launched here.
Yeah, so the company's name is PartPal. We're now coming up on 2 years here being in business. We're founded when, with a co-founder, two of us actually, but myself and my other co-founder, were students at the University of Tampa. We were seniors in college at the time. And we had, like you talked about networking, we had kind of come into contact with a strong network just in the UT community or Tampa community, I guess I should say. And at the time we were in the kind of web development, e-commerce world. We had come, from working for a different Tampa business at the time. And lo and behold, we kind of met with, one of our network advisors at Tampa, and we came across this opportunity to build what became PartPal. And that in a brief sense is that, a lot of the automotive repair sector and industry is so grappled and struggling with the lack of control that the consumer has, right? When you go to the auto shop, you're kind of at the mercy of what the mechanic's going to tell you, right? You're at the mercy of what that bill's going to look like. A lot of people don't even necessarily have a great understanding of what is on the bill when they look at it, right? And that's a common problem. And so when we looked at it, we wanted to create a solution that was transparent, that was affordable and accessible for everybody's auto repair. And that's kind of what PartPal became and still is to this day.
That's incredible. Congratulations on reaching the 2-year point, seeing it evolve. What is the next evolution you see? You see it's changed year to year, of course, even week to week in entrepreneurship. How are you continuing to stay ahead of the curve?
Yeah, so when we started that first year, maybe even year and a quarter, if you will, was all kind of centered around the reactive auto care, the reactive auto repair, meaning we can help you once you get into that accident, right? Obviously we don't wish that on anybody, but that's how the business was designed. You get into an accident, we'll help you out. Going forward, one thing we've really taken a step back to look at is how can we help people proactively? How can we offer solutions that they can use before they need, right? Or before they get into that accident? To kind of make a more well-rounded business and a better offering for the consumer. And so what we're doing now is we've launched what we call the PartPal membership program. And so what that is essentially is all of your upkeep needs as opposed to repair needs. Now we have this upkeep membership. So it covers the price you pay covers you for a full year's worth of like oil changes, full synthetic oil changes. Doesn't matter the car, how many quarts of oil you need. It covers car washes. It covers detailings. It covers buffing, tires, and all this kind of stuff that goes into vehicle upkeep. And you get free diagnostic appointments as well. It's one thing we learned was a lot of people come to us and say, hey, I've got this noise or I've got this light or I've got this squeak or what have you going on with my car, but I don't necessarily know what it is. And so we incorporated that into these memberships where if you're a member, we'll set you up with a free diagnostic appointment, no charge to you. And at least if you want to go ahead and do the repair, great. If you don't, then at least you know what's wrong with your car. So that's kind of where the business is trending and kind of something new we're at now.
I think that's incredible. You give people the peace of mind and that no pressure. So it's like, okay, hey, we'll check your car. We'll let you know it's at least wrong so you can make a decision, right, if you want to move forward with that. That's great. Where do you plan on expanding next to?
Yeah, so we're going to, obviously being in Tampa, where we're at now, the logical expansion, I think, is we'd love to be in all the major markets in the state of Florida.
Okay.
That being, Orlando, Jacksonville metro area, Miami-Dade, Fort Lauderdale, even, down to Fort Myers. So we would love to kind of be a statewide solution. And that's kind of a near-term goal for us, meaning, within the next 12 to 24 months. And then from there, we're going to kind of just see where it goes and see where, the breeze takes us, if you will.
I love it. Do you have a target customer for this business or?
Yeah. So we have like 2 to 3, right? But primarily there's a few factors that we deem, to kind of make a target customer for us. Number one is somebody that's frustrated or kind of looking for a transparent alternative to the current industry, meaning maybe you didn't grow up in the most mechanic oriented family, right? Maybe you don't have the greatest knowledge base of vehicles, which even I don't to this day. And I own this, I'm part of a car company. So somebody that is maybe just looking for somebody that or a solution that can tell them, hey, I just want to know what's wrong with my car. And I want to know, how I can fix it at an affordable price, right? So if that's kind of where your mindset's at, then you're definitely a target customer of us. Obviously, being in Tampa, if you're in the Tampa area, we can service you pretty much from Tampa to St. Pete and all the way in between. And then being that we're an online kind of oriented business, meaning in order to redeem our services, you kind of do have to go online or use an app or something like that. We tend to say anybody that's tech familiar. You don't have to be a tech wizard, but as long as you know how to browse a website, you can pretty much get by just fine. So
let's talk about that. You said an app. Did you make an app?
That's in the process.
Okay.
So that's coming hopefully in 2025. That's one of our big picture kind of goals. Right now we have a website. It's thepartpal.com. So thepartpal.com. And on there you can do anything from schedule an appointment at one of our gold certified shops, meaning we went and vetted them for quality, I like timeliness and just overall being a good, trustworthy mechanic, right? So anybody that we send you to kind of have an appointment at, you can kind of rest assured that they're, a well-run shop. Anyway, so you can, schedule appointments. You can figure out what it's going to cost you, right, for repair. You can kind of pick your repair parts that you may need. And then the price that you see on the website is a fully guaranteed repair bundle price, meaning when you check out with us, you're not going to have to pay anything else at the shop. So at that point, all you have to do is just check your email because we're going to send you, hey, go to this shop at this time based on what you put in for availability. But then once you're there, that's it. You just drop it off, you pick it up. You don't have to pay anything else. And anything that comes up, sometimes it's like, oh, we sent this person there and turns out they needed another part or two. Well, that's covered by our guarantee. So you wouldn't have to pay that as the customer. The whole idea being we're trying to really promote this transparent alternative.
So you'll just eat the cost. I think that's great as a business. And I learned too, there are just sometimes it's part of the game, part of doing business.
Definitely.
Now that you've reached this point, what advice can you offer other early stage entrepreneurs who may be going through a tough time right now? Everyone, remember, I say this a lot, there's no blueprint, there's no textbook in entrepreneurship. You're just learning on the fly.
Right.
How can you help everyone tuning in today?
Right. Well, I'll say this, I still have a lot to learn, right? So I by no means have it all figured out. But if I can give somebody that was maybe in my shoes 2, 3, 4 years ago advice, it would be that, to use a baseball analogy, focus on hitting singles and not home runs. It's so easy to kind of want to grasp everything at once and have these massive chunks of success and milestone very quickly, especially in the society that we live in today. It's like a microwave society. Everything happens so fast. My advice would be sit down, take the time to put a plan together and make it more piecemeal, if you will. Make it attainable chunks so that you can put this effort towards 1 or 2 things at a time and then really watch that grow over time, as opposed to just feeling super overwhelmed by all these things that you feel like you want to do. So take a step back, put a plan in place, and kind of go one thing at a time and build yourself up there. And I think you'll see a lot of success that way.
It's incredible advice. Instead of just focusing on this big, overwhelming end goal, baby steps on how you get there. That's incredible.
Right.
Before we get his contact info, where to find him online,
Yeah.
if you could choose any entrepreneur throughout history, dead or alive, to sit down with, who would you choose?
Well, I would like to say Henry Ford. Obviously, he's not here anymore. So who I would say that's alive would be probably Howard Schultz, Starbucks founder. And he obviously has a podcast as well. I'm sure a lot of people that listen to you probably listen to him as well. So I've got a lot of inspiration from his podcast, hence why I would love to kind of sit down with him. But it's all about like innovation and I think perseverance. And for a successful entrepreneur to be able to relay that in a relatable way to somebody like myself is rare, but a super valuable thing. And so I think when you are able to listen or find those people, you kind of got to hear them out and take value from it.
Let's delve deeper. Where would this meeting go down if you picked a mutual location too?
Honestly, I feel like it would only be right to be in like a Starbucks lobby, you know what I mean? After over a cup of coffee or something like that. Maybe here at the University of Tampa, having him down here would be pretty cool. Show him around the stomping grounds. But honestly, I couldn't, beggars couldn't be choosers. If he's willing to give me even 1 minute of his time, I'd run across the street to meet him, But yeah, it's a good question.
I absolutely love it. Well, listen, thank you for being one of the opening shows on this Lowth Center bonus series, this incubator special, always showing love to the great people here in the Lowth Center. When you walk in, you never know what you can learn. You're going to be surrounded by people in all different industries willing to pay it forward as well. Where can we find you online, company, website, all that?
Yeah. So you can find us online at thepartpal.com. That's THE partpal.com. You can email even just myself directly, Owen@thepartpal.com. And we'd be happy and look forward to helping you there.
Thank you for sharing that, everyone. Be sure to like and subscribe this episode. Leave him a review, a comment. Let him know how well he did. And the show is on all podcast platforms, all social media platforms. And I am Vincent A. Ladsey on all social media, YouTube and vincentaladsi.com. If you're looking to start your podcast today, head to comingalivepodcastproduction.com to enjoy your offers from listening to this show. And we are signing off today in the Lowth Center. Thank you, Owen.
Thank you, Vince. Appreciate it.